Welcome to another edition of The Bone of Advertising. I'm Craig McLeod, and that makes you two. Actually, it's just a trio. There's someone missing.
Yeah.
No JT.
No
JT's done a runner.
Last week he was already in the car, and this week he's completely disappeared.
Last week in the car was hilarious. I wonder what was going on there, like in stealth mode, in a car park, in a car. Like, what do you mean?
It was quite questionable.
I thought it was extraordinary work from him, but no, he's enjoying life up on the Gold Coast. I'm sure at the moment he's going down some slip and slide at Movie World or something. I'm sure
I feel like he'd be a wet and wild kind of guy. Wet and wild.
Can you imagine him on whatever it is, the whirly thing, just like, woo! Bless him.
Having a great time.
He enjoys it anyway. Today, you two going to introduce yourselves, or are you just going to leave it as everyone knows who you are by now?
I feel like everyone knows who we are.
Of course they do. Okay, the ad we're going to talk about today, or what we're going to talk about today, is the tough sell. Often we find ourselves in a position where we're briefed with campaigns and we look at them and go, okay, that might be pushing shit uphill. But I reckon there's an absolute ripping one that's out at the moment that really fits this mold, because I think they've absolutely been punished over the last, 2 years with COVID. It's really caused them a whole shitload of problems. And I'm not sure about you guys, but I've certainly lost a parcel. Anyone else lost a parcel?
I have, but not through Australia Post.
Okay.
I haven't lost one, but I've had them heavily delayed.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, let's take a look at what they've come up with somewhat recently. I think it's about a month out now, this campaign, and it's running on free to air. So let's take a look.
This is Hunter Boynton. He goes through drumsticks real quick, so he's ordered more. They're one of around 2.5 billion things Australia Post delivers every year. Yep, Aussies are sending like never before, so we're sorting like never before. You're shopping like never before, so we're shipping like never before, taking Aussie businesses from the garage to the globe. You're ordering, gifting, buying and shifting more stuff than ever before, so we've got new ways to deliver it, like Terry's new ride. It's electric and it's silent. Australia Post has proudly invested $1 billion to deliver for you like never before. And get Hunter his drumsticks. Quick sticks.
Oh, wow. Okay, so for me, interesting take on what they've done. We've spent bucket loads of cash on making ourselves better. So are we saying that we were previously really shit? Or are we saying that, you know what, you're sending so much more right now that we have to invest a whole lot more in our infrastructure and our people and everything else to ensure that, old mate gets his drumsticks on time? What did you guys think?
I think they're saying both. I think the whole surge in packages and online shopping from COVID really made them realise where there were areas for improvement, and obviously they had staffing issues and all of that, and it was a fiasco and no one was getting their parcels, and we're all hating on Australia Post, although we kind of realised how dependent we were on them at the same time. So I feel like they're recognising how shit they were, and they're saying we've invested all of this money to make ourselves better. And I really liked the ad. I thought it had like a youthful vibe. It felt upbeat. It felt kind of comical in a way as well. And I often see our little postie whizzing around on his little like granny mobile. Love and life.
Silent.
Yeah, well, but you can still hear them. I don't know how that works.
It's like the Tesla postie bike.
It's stealthy. They're like full stealth now. I really liked it. I feel like Australia Post in the past have done, their messaging's all about like being connected and, connecting with your loved ones and sending letters. And this is more like
practical,
honest, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of like you guys buying stuff and you want it quick. So we've invested this money in it. We've got this new technology. We've updated our warehousing and we've scaled up to be able to meet the demand. And yeah, I think it left a nice taste in my mouth.
Okay.
I think delivering like never before it feels like very optimistic to me. I think a more realistic, even more realistic would have been we're shit and we're going to try and be a little bit better. But obviously, I think there were really good things about the ad as well. Like from a brand perspective, they were able to fit so much into a 45-second ad, and they were able to address lots of different audiences, being the consumer side, but also small businesses in a really short piece. And I also feel like the scripting of this ad was bang on. Whoever the copywriter was on this, it was almost like, I love when an ad starts with an opening and then at the end, it sort of comes full circle like that. It's like a comedian who tells a really good, full, well-rounded joke. And at the end of the show, you're like, oh, it all makes sense. It sort of has that sort of feeling to it. So kudos to who wrote the script. And I think the agency who pulled it together probably, had a bit of a challenge on their hands, because how do you be honest but optimistic at the same time? Delivering like never before probably does hit that mark, I guess.
I wonder what the punters thought of it, and only time will tell, I guess, if we look at any sort of info that comes back on that one. But I wonder whether they're all a little bit jaded and a bit pissed off because over COVID they were desperate to continue to buy and they shopped like never before. And of course, they had absolutely no time for the fact that the workers at Australia Post also were experiencing COVID. So therefore had, absolutely obliterated their workforce and their ability to deliver on time. But ultimately, I think it was an extraordinary effort to get a stack of stuff in, but also to show people really what it takes to do what they do. Like there's an enormous amount of logistics involved in getting something from some procurement factory or from someone's garage and getting it to us in a timely manner. And I think it really illustrated to me how powerful the post service is, the postal service really is, and its ability to do stuff that's beyond courier companies almost. I mean, they move so much stuff so quickly throughout Australia. It's extraordinary. And I'm with you, Gabs. I think the storytelling part of it was extraordinary. I was surprised it was a 45. I thought they would have either gone a 30 or a 60 if they wanted to go sort of, your full epic sort of half film sort of style. But a 45 is interesting, kind of banged off, in the middle between a 30 and a 50 and a 60, which it's probably the most unusual of timestamps that they can do. But ultimately, I say take hat off to Australia Post. That was a great effort at saying, what was tough for us for a couple of years, but here's what we've done and here's how you're going to get your shit better. I also like the little homage to jobs out of your factory. I don't know if you guys picked up on that, like right at the end. I'm not sure whether that was supposed to be like a little nod of the hat to technology businesses starting out of a garage, aka Steve Jobs and back in the day with Apple. But ultimately, I thought it was pretty interesting and pretty good. Tough sell, but I'm buying.
You're buying because we have no other option, really.
Exactly. I feel like COVID was almost a blessing in disguise for AusPost, because kind of previous to that, they were this archaic, like who the hell uses AusPost, and like, everything gets delivered via courier and stuff now. But now, I don't know, I have like a love relationship with them. Like I feel like their service, service is really good now. And we can't forget as well that the holdups initially with the COVID stuff wasn't just on Australia Post, it was also on the people who were buying from. They had stocking issues, so they weren't dispatching quick enough. But, everyone was kind of blaming poor AusPost for not getting their products. So I think they've really redeemed themselves. All about you, AusPost. I really like
AusPost, that's what we say. Tip of the hat. Well, let's quickly segue into a lovely little what the funk. What the funk. Now, this one's a little different. It's probably not your usual social media sort of, blow up or stuff that's been going on topically around the place. I mean, we could chat about the floods for the fourth time that's happening at the moment in New South Wales, which, gosh, I mean, I don't know. There's got to be something done differently there, but that's a topic for another day, because we're going to talk about ZeroG banger from Great Northern. So I wonder if one of you guys want to sort of talk us through what they're trying to do here, and really it sort of plays into some stuff that goes against what the tech companies or what the the big sort of Telstra, Optus and Vodafone are really doing. So let's hear from you guys. What do you think?
Yeah, so Great Northern have launched what they're calling the ZeroG Network program petition, in a sense. And the whole idea behind the campaign is to get people to sign a petition to preserve certain areas or certain landmarks within Australia from having 5G reception in those areas, to ensure that people are actually out there enjoying nature instead of being on their phones the whole time. Interesting.
Let's take a quick look at it and see what you think.
Okay.
The average Australian spends more than 5 hours a day on their phone. And while our phones are pretty handy, it's important to put them down every now and again, especially when you're in beautiful, untouched places like this and this, where you can be free of emails and constant notifications, and where you can truly switch off. But as 5G rapidly spreads from coast to coast, pretty soon every nook of this country will be online. That's why Great Northern is launching the ZeroG Network, tech-free sanctuaries in the great outdoors. Our mission is to preserve a selection of these ZeroG locations so that future generations can experience the benefits of being outdoors and offline. Sign the petition and explore the ZeroG Network today.
Cara, what do you reckon?
I don't know. Am I going to sit on the fence? I'm not sure. I like the sentiment of what they're doing, and I agree with trying to preserve these areas of no reception. I think that's really important, and it's a valid message that they're trying to get across of we should be able to disconnect when we want to disconnect, and there should be areas where we can do this. So I'm with them on that. The only thing that doesn't really sit with me is the brand being tied to this idea. So an alcohol company being tied to the idea of being able to go somewhere and have no reception. That feels a bit strange of like, are you supposed to take a 6-pack with you and go and get pissed somewhere and then not be able to get on to anyone? Like, how does that play out? I'm not quite sure. So that what the fuck for me would be, how does that tie together? Like, what was their reasoning as to why a beverage company or an alcohol company wants to preserve, these areas of no reception? But I think in essence, what they're doing, I can really stand with them for that, because I think that is really important. I just don't know if it's the right mix between.
I think it comes back to their brand story, and again, I'm not right across it, but ultimately, I believe their brand story is all about enjoying a beverage responsibly in these amazing places. So, Great Northern being obviously, talking about the northern part of Australia as well. But I think then sort of extending their brand story and how they kind of position themselves as the beer of choice, I guess, for people that are enjoying nature and out and about. Often their TVCs are all about people sort of fishing or on a beach or full driving. So I think it's an extension of that. But I think you make a great point to draw the comparison with an alcohol company being the one that really is about sort of preserving these spots. Would not have been more appropriate to be from, Tourism Australia, or would it have not been more appropriate to be, I don't know, from the Great Barrier Reef, organisational fund or whatever it is, someone that sort of Tourism Queensland that's sort of doing that. And again, not that it's just about Queensland. I mean, it's all about all of those, unique locations. And I think some of them are, kind of Kakadu, and some of them far north Queensland and over in WA as well. But ultimately, I thought what they're sort of doing is really interesting. And the point that sort of triggered for me was 5 hours a day on our phone. I mean, that's an extraordinary number.
At a minimum as well.
5 hours. I mean, I don't reckon I do 5 hours on my phone, but I guess that's probably more so because we're in an office and, we're on calls and stuff as well. But to think 5 hours is extraordinary. And that's an average. We do need to put phones down. So the idea and the sentiment behind it is an absolute ripper. But wow, blew my doors off. 5 hours. Fuck.
I love the idea and the sentiment, and I understand the brand story alignment. But I also feel like it's superficial and it's a bit gimmicky, and you can sort of see, I don't know, when you go on the landing page, there's the whole sign the petition page, but then right next to that, there's a promotions page, and it's all about their products and buying beer and if you sign the petition, I'd love to know where your data goes. Does Great Northern get it to remarket to you?
I'd say so.
So
without a doubt. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's our for today.
I think it's a fail for me. I'm putting it down to being a fail. Good intentions, but I think it's a bit too far of a stretch.
For me, again, creatively, beautifully shot. And I don't know whether that was stock footage, but even the way it was animated with all of those sort of icons coming in, I thought exceptionally well done, beautiful to look at. And the sentiment and story behind it and the locations they've chosen were just stunning, absolutely ripping, like beautiful cinematography. Loved it. So we're coming to harmonics, and the guy who's supposed to be doing harmonics is on holidays. So I thought I'd throw to you guys to see whether we can all come up with one cue from a brand. And it's obviously got to be a verbal cue, and it's going to be off the top of your head. I want you to say something relative to a brand, and we've got to guess it. So we're going to do one each. So you're going to have to come up with two. So on the fly, you're really going to have to do, something. But I'm going to start us off with a brand that is no longer around, unfortunately, in Australia, and it has a lion as its logo.
ING?
Still around?
The lion, its logo, and it's not
A
around.
lion as its logo, and it
Lion
had manufacturing plants in Port Melbourne, in Adelaide.
Oh, Holden.
Holden cars, meat pies and kangaroos.
Yes, nice. Good job.
Okay, number one, tick box for me.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay, go.
White cursive writing.
White.
Cadbury.
No.
What did you say? White cursive writing?
White cursive writing.
Forward.
No, but interesting. Because I thought it would have been something tied to it. Red and white.
Coca-Cola.
Yes. You got it.
Can you see it over there, actually? Okay, Gabaloo, let's hear from you.
Where the bloody hell are ya?
Oh, Australia.
Tourism Australia.
There you go.
Yep.
Okay, mine's going to be one that I reckon you guys are going to struggle with.
Okay.
Not a pear.
Apple.
Good job. Is it right?
That was fan-fucking-tastic. Nice work. Okay.
Oh, 4 rings.
Audi.
Olympics.
Yes. Gabalicious.
I know there's 5 rings in the Olympics, isn't there?
Yes.
Okay, Gabs.
Lishy, did you have one? I can go again. Oh, you got one?
Don't like look around your room and come up
I
with
know.
like
I'm like,
fucking shitty stapler brand or something.
I've got a staple here.
Tonight I'll be eating.
Uber Eats.
Uber Eats.
Did somebody say?
Menu log it.
Yes.
What's DoorDash's one?
Oh, don't order from us because we take ages.
And Deliveroo, we just love you because you're amazing.
Deliveroo.
Okay, well, guess what? I think we'll wrap it there. That's another edition of the Bones of Advertising. Thanks for joining us. Don't go changing. We'll see you all next week. We might be back to a quad next week. We might. Then again, we
Maybe
might be-
JD with the 10.
with a 10. I love it. See you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.